I'm Jessica Hatch, welcoming you to the first episode of Hatching for Health. Right here on NTV Houston, we are going to be airing every week, so you can tune in and follow the different families that we are helping with their conditions. Now, the show was created to help children with various diseases, disabilities, and disorders. Our goal is to help create awareness for them and potentially find cures. So we hope that you're able to tune in each and every week to learn something new and maybe be able to help us as well. We're gonna come right back after we take a quick commercial break, and we're gonna meet Perry and her son, Donovan. Now, Donovan has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, also known as EDS. Now, what is medically known about EDS is that it carries a 50% genetic pass rate from the parent. Additionally, they say that less than 200,000 cases are reported in the US. So it's very rare, and we look forward to meeting them.
शुगरलैंड में आ रहा है अलरब्बा वर्ल्ड फूड। 61,000 स्क्वायर फीट में होगा आपका अपना देसी मिनी मॉल, जहां ग्रोसरी से लेकर होम फर्निशिंग तक ये है वन स्टॉप शॉप डेस्टिनेशन लोकेटेड इन न्यू टेरिटरी एरिया एट यूनिवर्सिटी एंड ग्रैंड पार्कवे। अलरब्बा offers retail space for all businesses. Alrabba World Foods. For more information, call Amir Ali at 512-652-8462.
सुनो, आज क्या पकाऊं?
कुछ नया पकाओ यार।
हर रोज का है देखो, एक ही सवाल, आज क्या पकाऊं? क्या है ख्याल? आ गए नई मलका रेसिपी मसाले, खालिस और बेहतरीन अज्जा, मुनफरिद जायका, नो एडेड एमएसजी और ग्लूटेन से महफूज। लखनवी बिरयानी, हैदराबादी अचार गोश्त, पंजाबी तड़का दाल, पेशावरी कढ़ाई। मुझको देखो मिल गया इसका एक हल, रोज है मजा नया, आज हो या कल।
आज तो कमाल कर दिया।
कमाल तो मलका ने किया है।
तुम ही तो हो मेरे दिल की मलका।
मलका, कुछ नया पकाओ।
Our story begins more than 60 years ago inside an abandoned chicken coop where our founder discovered a retired teacher living, no home, no health care. So she said no to this injustice and yes to transforming lives. It's this drive, this compassion that inspired AARP. Today we empower people to choose how they live as they age. We advocate for health and financial security. We strengthen communities everywhere. We are AARP Houston, creating real possibilities.
Kick off the new year with a new Cadillac from Ron Carter Cadillac. Own the new 2020 Cadillac Escalade with $9,000 customer cash, or drive for just $829 a month. The first ever 2020 XT6 premium luxury crossover for $499 a month, or the new 2020 XT4 luxury collection just $379 a month. All for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Your only Houston area Cadillac to your door dealer, RonCarterCadillac.com.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
मनपसंद सुपरमार्केट, जहां की फ्रेश वेजिटेबल्स, स्पाइसेस, फ्रोजन फूड आइटम्स आपको सबसे अच्छे प्राइस में मिलेगी और हलाल ज़बीहा मीट भी मिलेगा। दाम मनपसंद, नाम मनपसंद, तो फिर क्यों ना जाए मनपसंद। Located at Wilcrest Drive, Houston, North Highway and William Cannon Drive, Austin, Texas। तो नाम याद रखिएगा, मनपसंद सुपरमार्केट।
डुबकी लगा ससीतो का मजा बड़ा ससीतो टोमेटो केचप मजे की डुबकी।
And welcome back to the show. We have just been joined by our lovely guests, Perry and Donovan, who we're going to speak about Ehlers-Danlos with. So thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we had some crazy weather out there, so I'm glad y'all got here safe and sound.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you have something to say?
The highway was messy.
I know. So I appreciate you guys, making it out. I wanted to kind of just start by telling the viewers a little bit about Ehlers-Danlos, kind of from a perspective of yours, being that you, the mother of him, and you kind of go through the ins and outs of everything that pertains to.
Yes.
So if you just want to kind of define it for our audience.
Sure. So Ehlers-Danlos is a connective tissue disease, and essentially you have connective tissue in almost every organ system, and this Ehlers-Danlos creates faulty collagen. So Donovan deals with things like dislocations, floppy loose joints, lots of GI issues.
Really? So tell me a little bit about that, Donovan. So when she talks about the connective tissue, like what does that mean for you? Like what happens?
Mostly bruises, cuts sometimes. I get cuts more often.
Like very
now.
easily?
Poor wound healing.
Okay.
And dislocation, like she said.
Yeah, no, I mean, so little things where somebody might go out and play sports and be completely fine, with like the roughhousing of it. For you, it's going to be a little more, I guess, something you have to be very careful with, right?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, not even just extreme like that. Just, simple movements can cause you to dislocate.
I can't, if I run, sometimes it goes like to 207.
Your heart rate or?
Oh, the heart rate, yeah, because we have
Okay.
elevated heart rate is what he's talking about.
Is one of the other symptoms of it. Goodness, so tell me kind of about like a day-to-day life for you guys, because obviously with the doctor's appointments, it's not something where you wake up and have a normal day where he goes to school. You, from what I've understood, you go to the doctor quite often or having in-home treatments as well?
Yes, ma'am. So we've got therapy, from physical therapy, occupational therapy, several times a week. Donovan also receives infusions. He receives to help out with autonomic dysfunction, which is something that's seen with Ehlers-Danlos. He gets vitamins, IV vitamins, IV fluids. Sometimes we have to do IV medications. And then he also gets infusions down at the medical center.
And so this is like several times a
Yes,
week? Is it?
Yes, at minimum we have at least 3 appointments, doctor's appointments from the therapies every single week. And then we see specialists in just about every field. So just following up with those every 3 months has you going quite a bit.
I can imagine. So is he in regular school or you guys have homeschool?
Yes,
He's in regular school right
I
now.
want to stay in it. They're asking for private or homebound. No, I want to stay in public.
Yeah. No,
Donovan does periodic homebound whenever he can tolerate school. We go to school.
Okay.
But lots of things factor into public school from the other children there, typical illness. So oftentimes he ends up on homebound.
Okay. Is anything that he has symptom-wise contagious, like with other children, or is it all
No.
just something internally that?
Yeah. So you're looking at genetic mutations.
Okay.
So my daughter is also affected. My husband and I are also affected. So we deal with a family issue of having this, and nothing is contagious. Even though you see things like rashes with hives and the collagen is not very good. So it's open to lots and lots of allergen triggers, even through the skin. So we deal with tons of allergy.
Really? Goodness. So what about medications and stuff? Because from what I understand, a lot of these visits are paid for through medical insurance, but then a lot of them aren't. Or tell me a little bit about that.
So the visits are paid for, luckily, with insurance. We have private insurance. It's just that the drugs, rare disease does not have drugs out.
Yeah, that are maybe not, they're there, but they're not FDA approved.
Yes, ma'am, correctly. They're not FDA approved, so you don't have access to a lot of them. Whether we don't whether we don't meet the age requirement or the diagnosis is oftentimes you have to get drugs to help you with the symptoms and not the actual disease process. So hopefully that can change with legislation.
Yeah, so I mean, there's got to be, knowing that there's like over 7,000 rare diseases out there, you know, some of them many people are not even aware of at all. It's because of the rarity. But it's, when I hear Ehlers-Danlos, it's like, you know, it is something I'd never heard before until I met you guys. So I just kind of want to know more specific symptoms that he has on a regular basis. So for others out there that are maybe undergoing some of those same symptoms, they can maybe relate and realize that they might actually have this same, you know, condition. So, you know, what are some of the things?
Yeah. Thank you so much. So we started out with typical symptoms of allergy, which I actually didn't relate to allergy. Things like headaches, tummy problems that I couldn't correlate to allergy. And sorry, we're gonna have to backtrack on that.
That's okay.
We started out with a lot of GI symptoms.
Okay.
So started looking into that more, started researching, because you can only hear, you have a virus so many times before you start questioning how many viruses can one child have.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it was really primarily that, the GI symptoms and the allergy symptoms that led to that, which are not, with Ehlers-Danlos, you have lots of vague symptoms, right? You have joint complaints, you know, blood pressure issues, cardiac issues. And so piecing that all together to form a whole diagnosis. They have a saying, when you can't connect the issues, think connective tissue. And that it's so true.
Takes you straight to like the definition of Ehlers-Danlos for the most part. So, I mean, that's, I would assume everything from like whatever he is putting in his mouth on a daily basis, he's got to be so careful, because it's either going to affect his the gastro tract, or something with an allergy it triggers. So you must have like a very specific diet in place. It's not like you just kind of walk into any restaurant and as a family and...
No. One with the cross-contamination. So eating out is an issue, which creates socialization problems, because we eat when we're happy, when we're mad, when we're sad.
Correct. But you aren't even having to, you know, dissect exactly what that can be while you have these emotions. So what about, is it painful? Is it something that, you know, you feel different kinds of pain throughout the day based on your activities?
Yes.
Talk to him about some of the pain you experience.
Very much, yes.
Talk to him. Tell him some kind of...
Because you look so healthy, and like every time I see you, you know, you shine. So we definitely wouldn't know. So we have to kind of know from you.
Belly pain. Something new is now the eye. My eyes have just started hurting lately. I don't know why. Headaches. Don't get them often now.
We deal with lots of feet pain. Donovan uses a wheelchair to go to school every day.
Really?
So we use the wheelchair every day. He uses it at his discretion whenever he needs it.
Just because of your legs are too exhausted to walk around? Or
Also, with autonomic dysfunction, it creates a problem with the standing, because the heart rate, his heart rate
spikes up, blood pressure drops.
His heart rate spikes and his blood pressure drops.
And when I sit, heart rate lowers, blood pressure rise.
Nothing when you sit.
Oh.
When he sits, it's...
Yeah, when he sits, it's fine. But essentially, it boils down to being, you know, tachycardia to standing.
Okay. So, I mean, what are some of the things right now that you guys are actively doing? Because, I mean, there's a lot of things going on. So it's kind of, you know, there's eventually, hopefully there's a cure, but it's almost individual cures that he's needing to, you know, create healing, right?
I try to work with my physicians, because it takes a group effort to make this. It takes a team.
When they say it takes a village, my whole family helps.
Yeah, our whole family helps. Really? Everybody pulls together to help with, you know, taking care of prescriptions, helping, you know, I can't leave him with a babysitter, because, you know, you've got smells, you've got allergens, people don't know how to feed him, they definitely don't know how to give IV medications, you know. So you can't leave them with babysitters or anything.
So we
like
have
that.
to use very close friends or family, mostly family.
Yeah, that you feel comfortable with. Even something I read a little bit from some of the research I did, it's a little bit off topic, but just with the bruising, becoming very easily bruised, like even the joints, kind of saying, hey, come on, and something can dislocate so easily that I read something about Child Protective Services, getting involved in situations with children with, Ehlers-Danlos, saying that, why is there bruising going on? Because again, they look at him and say, he looks healthy,
Sure.
Unfortunately,
that's a real concern in our community. And I have friends throughout my support groups that unfortunately they've had physicians or family members or strangers call on them, because you're right, for the typical child, they don't bruise easily, they don't dislocate.
And they mostly think it's the parent is being abusive.
At times, they think that the child is being abused, so CPS has definitely been involved in, unfortunately, many of my friends' cases. So hopefully we can stop this patient-doctor gap with communication to be able to help, because sometimes what we don't see is still there.
Exactly. I do have Dr. Eisenberg here today, and she's somebody that's met with you guys before. She's a rheumatologist in the Houston area, and she treats mostly adults, but some children. And I feel like she might have just some expert advice, as a physician that does see children and adults with Ehlers-Danlos. So I am going to be bringing her on in a little bit, and I want you guys to feel free to ask her any questions that you might want advice on. And with you, she might learn something from you. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to have Dr. Michelle Eisenberg on the show, a rheumatologist.
शुगरलैंड में आ रहा है अलरब्बा वर्ल्ड फूड। 61,000 स्क्वायर फीट में होगा आपका अपना देसी मिनी मॉल, जहां ग्रोसरी से लेकर होम फर्निशिंग तक ये है वन स्टॉप शॉप डेस्टिनेशन, लोकेटेड इन न्यू टेरिटरी एरिया एट यूनिवर्सिटी एंड ग्रैंड पार्कवे। अलरब्बा offers retail space for all businesses. Al-Rabba World Foods. For more information, call Amir Ali at 512-652-8462. सुनो, आज क्या पकाऊं?
कुछ नया पकाओ यार।
हर रोज का है देखो एक ही सवाल, आज क्या पकाऊं, क्या है ख्याल। आ गई नई मलका रेसिपी मसाले, खालिस और बेहतरीन अज्जा, मुनफरिद जायका, नो एडेड एमएसजी और ग्लूटेन से महफूज। लखनवी बिरयानी, हैदराबादी अचार गोश्त, पंजाबी तड़का दाल, पेशावरी कढ़ाई। मुझको देखो मिल गया इसका एक हल, रोज है मजा नया, आज हो या कल।
आज तो कमाल कर दिया।
कमाल तो मलका ने किया है।
तुम ही तो हो मेरे दिल की मलका।
मलका, कुछ नया पकाओ।
Our story begins more than 60 years ago inside an abandoned chicken coop where our founder discovered a retired teacher living, no home, no health care. So she said no to this injustice and yes to transforming lives. It's this drive, this compassion that inspired AARP. Today we empower people to choose how they live as they age. We advocate for health and financial security. We strengthen communities everywhere. We are AARP Houston, creating real possibilities.
Kick off the new year with a new Cadillac from Ron Carter Cadillac. Own the new 2020 Cadillac Escalade with $9,000 customer cash, or drive for just $829 a month. The first ever 2020 XT6 premium luxury crossover for $499 a month, or the new 2020 XT4 luxury collection just $379 a month. All for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Your only Houston area Cadillac to your door dealer, RonCarterCadillac.com.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
मनपसंद सुपरमार्केट, जहां की फ्रेश वेजिटेबल्स, स्पाइसेस, स्पाइसेस, फ्रोजन फूड आइटम्स आपको सबसे अच्छे प्राइस में मिलेंगी और हलाल ज़बीहा मीट भी मिलेगा। दाम मनपसंद, नाम मनपसंद, तो फिर क्यों ना जाए मनपसंद। लोकेटेड एट विलक्रेस्ट ड्राइव, ह्यूस्टन, नॉर्थ हाईवे एंड विलियम कैनन ड्राइव, ऑस्टिन, टेक्सास। तो नाम याद रखिएगा, मनपसंद सुपरमार्केट।
Dubki, dubki, sasi dubki, dubki, sasito, 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 dubki, dubki लगा, sasito का मजा बड़ा, dubki, sasito tomato ketchup, मजे की dubki.
Welcome back from the break. We now are joined by Dr. Michelle Eisenberg, who is a rheumatologist. So thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Yes, so you have a practice in South Houston.
That's correct.
Where you treat patients for rheumatology needs. So tell us a little bit about that, kind of the age range you treat, as well as what all you're doing there in the practice.
So rheumatology is a subspecialty of internal medicine. So we treat all kinds of disorders, from joint disorders to collagen vascular diseases.
Okay.
Osteoporosis, gout, lupus, and various muscle diseases.
Okay. And is there kind of an age range that you typically stick within?
So rheumatologists practice all age groups, but I specialize mostly in adult medicine.
Okay.
But I will see 16 and up.
Okay. So specific to Donovan here with the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I know that they're patients that are not just affecting children, but obviously all the way up until the rest of their life, really, until there's, cures out there. So I guess kind of tell us what that looks like when you realize a patient might in fact have this diagnosis.
Okay, so Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, called EDS, usually is diagnosed before I get to see the patient.
Okay.
It's a rare occasion where a young adult will come in with the common symptoms of EDS, which I think you touched on this before, which include easy bruising, fatigue, joint hypermobility, fast heart rates, gastrointestinal problems. And most of the time when these patients present, as said before, there is a strong family history.
Really?
So you can almost diagnose this before even doing genetic blood testing.
Just because maybe their parents or a family member.
Correct.
Which is exactly with Perry, her and her husband, as well as your other child, all have symptoms of Ehlers-Danlos. Is that right?
Yes, except Donovan led to our diagnosis. We were not diagnosed until him.
Okay. And so what are some of the treatments that you're able to present to them when they come in? If they're already technically somebody with Ehlers-Danlos, then what are they? I guess what additional help are you able to provide them as your specialty?
Yeah, EDS is a complex disease. There's not one treatment that fits all patients.
Yeah.
I mean, for the majority of patients, the joint hypermobility is a major issue.
Okay.
When they come in and their joints will subluxate, which means they'll dislocate, just by doing basic everyday activities.
Wow.
So at that point, then we recommend things like lifestyle modification. Sometimes children, such as Donovan, have to use wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Because the joint pain is exceedingly difficult for them to function.
It's amazing.
Ergonomics, for those folks that use keyboarding on a daily basis, that helps as well to prevent it.
Keyboarding?
Yeah, when someone types in front of a computer, sometimes their joints will just sublux based on that. They'll dislocate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like within the wrist and stuff, just from the typing?
Yeah.
He has problems with handwriting and the pencil.
So is there medicine that you can take to actually improve on, the muscle and the joints and stuff so that they do not act that way?
Not technically, so we do more symptomatic relief. I think Donovan is on a medication that is called cyclosporin.
Okay.
And that's one of the medications that we use to kind of suppress the immune system.
Okay. And by doing that,
it shuts it down completely. So,
okay.
if you get sick, you will probably go to the hospital. It is
Really?
very fatal.
It's not something where you're just gonna, take a little medicine at home. You usually need, more advanced care when you get sick.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because it tames down the immune system, it also tames it down from working properly.
The medication that you're on.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Shuts down the
if he
cells,
gets
too.
an infection,
Mm-hmm.
a cold will affect
I
him
see.
differently.
So we were talking a little bit about just the medications in general, and it sounds like a lot of them are off-label, they're not FDA approved. Is that something that you find, or is there actually FDA approved medication that you're commonly prescribing, or is it also off-label that for the adult side?
For many of the diseases I treat, there are many off-label uses for medication.
Okay.
Cyclosporin in itself is not approved for EDS, but we use it to immune suppress for other diseases, and it works.
Really?
So in the medical community, it's generally acceptable to use these off-label treatments because we get really good results.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, so why not? I mean, if there's not something else that's approved, then why would you not use it? Tell me a little bit, I know I want to jump to you, Perry, as far as his daily activities, because I want Dr. Eisenberg just to kind of hear, because if there's any direct advice, I say activities, like just kind of walk me through a typical day for Donovan.
Well, whenever we get up, first thing I do is we start with medications, getting, the medicine in him, getting everything tamed to be able to go to school and assess if he can go to school, because things like barometric pressure, pollen counts, the activity from the day before all factor in on if he's going to be able to make it to school. And if he can make it to school, he goes to school, and he has a modified day because we do miss so much school. His day is modified.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I get the call after lunchtime because eating is a big problem with these kids.
Yeah.
But
it hasn't happened.
Sometimes we
in a
go
few
and get him.
years.
We need to go and get him. Sometimes he can make it through the whole day.
A lot of times I make it through the
A lot of days.
We're actually gonna show a quick video. So if you guys want to tune in, this will kind of give you a little bit better explanation of what children are going through and dealing with Ehlers-Danlos.
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS, is a connective tissue disease that affects about 1 in 5,000 people. It is the most common group of disorders in the family of hereditable disorders of connective tissues. Multiple symptoms are present in EDS since it is a disease of connective tissue which is found in virtually every organ system. Excessive joint mobility is the hallmark of the disease. The name of the syndrome comes from the names of a Danish dermatologist, Edward Ehlers, and a French dermatologist, Henri Danlos, who described it in first decade of 20th century. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is caused due to a mutation in one of more than a dozen different genes. The affected gene determines a specific type of the syndrome. Some forms of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome relate to problems with collagen production and composition, though the particular issue varies. Body's many connective tissues, including cartilage, tendons, fat, and bones, may falter and fail when collagen and its enzymes are disrupted. The pathological changes mainly involve joints, skin, and the walls of the blood vessels. In total, there are 13 different types of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, the most common of which are classical EDS and hypermobility EDS. In the future, genome-targeted treatments can be developed to provide the option of gene editing in these patients, ensuring complete clinical cure.
Welcome back after the video. I hope that helped to educate you a little bit more on exactly what Ehlers-Danlos is. So getting back to you guys, I think about Donovan, 9 years old. You're seeing, children, or I guess kind of young adults, 16, 18 and older. What are maybe some of the precautionary measures that he can take, as he's growing up to, hopefully ensure just a better way of life?
That's an excellent question. It's really mostly lifestyle modification as far as physical activity is what he has to be careful of.
Okay.
So at his age now and through high school and even college, physical education, or what we call PE classes, he really has to be very careful with that.
Yeah, because some of the things I've seen him do he's able to put his hands completely behind his back, in a position that we would never, Yeah. And like bending fingers in directions that I would be concerned with anybody doing. But those, just because of those things, if he's playing a certain sport and that happens, it could actually, it sounds like, dislocate something in his body.
Or pop.
Okay, or pop.
Absolutely,
okay.
yes.
And with so you said your grandmother actually, or your mother, his grandmother, she's had joint replacements knee replacements. Is that right?
Yeah.
And some of that is just because of the connective tissue. Like you mentioned, it stretches, unlike a rubber band goes back. With Laffy Taffy, for example, you said it just does not go back. And so it becomes more and more weak. And so that's where she's ending up having these knee replacements. So have you seen patients coming in with that sort of surgical procedure that they've had to have?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, on a personal level, I was at a bar mitzvah with a child who's 13, and he has EDS, and he was dancing. And just simple dancing caused his knee to dislocate.
Oh my gosh.
And it was very painful for him. Yes, it's just a simple activity that most people think nothing of. It caused him such severe pain.
Really?
And a trip to the emergency department to fix it.
And so some of really the medications right now are really the only thing that y'all are using to treat these symptoms. Obviously modifications in their diet, things of that nature, and just kind of their everyday activity. But is there any, I guess, luck that you can any research being done that you think might create a cure for this? Is it just always going to be something that's just going to have to continuously be treated?
Hopefully with additional funding and advocacy, and we can become more aware, and therefore a cure will be found.
Yeah, just putting more people, out there involved on the research of it, because it sounds like a very complicated thing. When you're talking about tissues, which our entire body is made up of, and it's doing that throughout his the individual's entire body. Did you have something you wanted to say, Donovan?
Yes, I fell backwards, and I fractured my foot. We didn't know, but this is the pain. You will not be able to walk on it at all, because, well, of course, because you dislocated it, and it will.
That was a fracture, dislocation and fractures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very easily injured. So I can imagine it's a lot of extra careful things.
Yeah, I stepped back because my friend scared me. We were on a camping trip because of a Canadian worm, the giant. And I fell back and it just fractured.
Really? So is there maybe like 3 things that, other children or other individuals would know about you that it pertains to this condition?
Now, yes, I know. Haley,
She's asking you what are 3 things that maybe other people wouldn't know about you just by looking at you.
Because that might help someone else that.
Oh, that they would not know that I'm
like
not.
Your port or something, Donovan.
My port.
You have a port in right now, or?
He has a port. It's permanently put in here, and so this is so that we don't have to find a line for intravenous medication.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah.
So it's
something
planted right in here.
So it's easily accessible for.
I could definitely say this, that I can't do sports.
Okay. Yeah.
And that I'm not a healthy kid, as I have diseases.
You look. Yeah. So as far as any trips planned, do you guys, have any things coming up that you guys want to do? Any destinations that are going to fit in with the criteria needed for him?
Mom is going to
Capitol Hill.
Yep, Rare Disease Week on Capitol Hill.
That doesn't sound like a vacation, but okay.
Make a legislative change to hopefully help Rare.
Okay.
Yeah, and where I want to go is Costa Rica.
Oh,
okay. There you go. Very good. What about you? Do you have something coming up?
My son's bar mitzvah, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
And then a trip to Hawaii. Yes.
Oh, that's
fabulous.
That's expensive. Oh my God.
It's a family wedding.
So what's the last movie that you went and saw in the theater?
Oh God, please do not say that out loud. Say a different one, not the one you actually saw. They'll be like, I can't believe it took him to Bad Boys.
3.
Yeah, say a different movie.
Okay, well, I asked because MTV Houston is giving you 2 free tickets to go see whatever movie you want that's out right now.
Yeah, that's great. They're going to give you 2 movie tickets. Tell them thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, definitely. Well, I'm so appreciative of you guys. I know we've met before and we've talked a little bit, but thank you guys so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. I think that we educated a lot of viewers out there on, more in depth of what Ehlers-Danlos syndrome really is. And so if you have any other questions, please feel free to email us. And we are going to be shooting an episode every week, so you can tune in to NTV Houston to watch the Hatching for Health program with your host, Jessica Hatch.